Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host El Young, and we are here with the brilliant Ronnie Robson. Welcome, Ronnie.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. So Ronnie, could you introduce yourself and what you do?
What do I do? I'm a session bass player, kind of a great cook, but a session bass player is what everyone knows me as. Definitely.
Cool. Yeah, cool. So let's dive into some questions.
Sure.
As a kid, what were you listening to?
You know what? I grew up in a family who who loved music. Everything from Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, big band stuff, everything. It was funny because my parents wanted my sister and I to have music in our life, and there was always the record player going on. There was always stuff going on, and I listened to some of the greats, like even the jazz greats, and we first started with piano, my sister and I, and she created, she was more of the um, design type of person where she would learn scales and, back and forth, and I would learn scales back and forth, but ex- I would do a little more experimenting than she would, like it was, you know, different things. So I, the ending answer to your question, it was um, a great music household. We listened to everything, and our parents probably let us listen to everything, which
Cool,
was
cool.
good, which is a part of my education.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing with a lot of people, especially after over the last 4 years, 5 years, I've been doing interviews. Is
Yeah.
that some of the people I've spoken to this year, they got a so eclectic mix of. They listen to a lot of different music as they were growing up,
Yeah,
like
most definitely.
going from like the classical music, going through like blues, jazz, Ella Fitzgerald. You got
Yep.
BB King, people like that, going all the way through to like say going through like listening to Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, all the big
Yeah, yeah.
bands. Uh,
And it was
so
funny because, you know what, Elliot? I remember one morning waking up and my mom was listening to Tom Jones. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. And I remember just bouncing down the stairs in my pajamas to this. And you know what? She was singing, and I was singing with her. It was funny because uh, the family on my mother's side, she was very musical inclined. She would put on records, 45s. She would do stuff, and my father, from the English Scottish side, couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, you know. And it was funny because I remember going down the stairs, not unusual to be loved by anyone. And I started dancing with my mother in my pajamas, and it was like a Saturday or a Sunday morning. It was a weekend. And it was so amazing. Next thing you know, she was listening to uh, Bach. She had an album on, and she was doing what she wanted to do in her own space, and it was amazing. It really was. And
yeah,
you you know what, and Elvis Presley too. She would throw on Elvis Presley. Meanwhile, my dad would be humming. But as I said, he couldn't carry a tune in a bucket.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Some people are like that. I might not be able to carry a tune like, but I do appreciate good music.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. And you know what? I really appreciate how different musicians carry on that music, especially from the past. And you know what? Everything that we listen to is basically things of the past. It could be reinvented, but it is a thing of the past. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed that over the last about what 30, 40 years,
Yep.
where I've seen bands literally cover other people's music from like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah. You know what?
So,
I've heard it, my friend, even earlier, where people took a sax solo from the 40s and have recreated it into their own, into their own. And we're so lucky living in our space. Like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even 100 years. If aliens dropped on us, what do you think they'd be doing in like, let's say the world stopped. Boom. They'd be going, not unusual to be loved by any, guaranteed they're going to rock it.
oh
If there's
yeah, yeah,
anything that this planet has, like, we live in a beautiful planet, don't get me wrong, but if any alien force came to us right now and waited for 20, 30, 40 years, they're going, oh my God, they listen to good music, like this is cool, and they'd probably reinvent it, you know
yeah. Oh,
but it
good,
would
yeah,
still be
most
this.
definitely.
They'd still be this, you know
Yeah. Oh,
at
good,
least
yeah.
90 beats per minute or above.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Oh, good, yeah. The higher the beats, the better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's, you slow it down, you slow it down, guaranteed.
Oh, good. Oh, good, yeah. So obviously, your family had a massive influence on you musically, getting into like listening to different types of genres of music. Was
Yes.
there anybody else that you sort of like had influence from, whether it be your sister or a friend, or was it like sort of like a journey of self discovery?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? It's funny. Yeah. So I have to get emotional right now. My sister, she was so, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to, and she'd do it on piano. But my sister used to bring home records, and she brought home Supertramp, and she brought home Fleetwood Mac, and I was more into the heavier stuff, and that's one part of it, because her and I would go back and forth to what we listened to, and then I started jamming with uh, many older musicians in my neighborhood. And one of the dudes, Steve Jackett, he was a drummer. We used to hang out, and great drummer. He's like Keith Moon. This dude was like Keith. He was absolutely amazing. And you know what? Not only that, but a great personality. Like, he was a lot of fun. And we used to hang out, and I remember picking up. He had a bass in his living room, and I picked it up and I plugged it in, and him and I were jamming, and then all of a sudden he started going, slow to what he was doing, the jam he was doing, and because I was playing guitar at that point, and he said to me, he says, I would really consider being a bass player because, rhythm section, I, you got it going on. So I started jamming with him more on bass, and I started jamming with other drummers, like older drummers, older guys in the neighborhood. And all of a sudden, I found my instrument. And it's not only that is my uncle who wrote songs for I don't know if you know them, but Moxie Whitney and Guy Lombardo, and they were Canadian based big band guys, and he had muscular dystrophy, and very slow in his demeanor, very you know, he lasted a long time. They thought he would last, half his life, but it was I looked at him and I thought, man, if he can do this, I can do anything,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it was kind of a thing where um still to this day, I'm like, I look back and I think, upon my bringing up of how I've come up, I'm such a lucky dude. And I in a broader answer to your question, um, there's many people I've been involved with over my life that have just like influenced me and brought me up. And you know what? In terms, like, I've had them come back to me and say, "Hey, you know what? We're recording this or doing this. Like, you just made things happen for me." Even though they had to take a step back in studio or whatever, I influenced them. So yeah, it's all been
Yeah.
cool. Like influence has been on me like 100%, but it's nice to kind of go on them too. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, who was your main influence in saying, "I want to pick up your bass"? Who was your main influence?
As a bass player, Elliot, I think, as I said, I took bass on earliest. I think John Paul Jones, as an overall musician from Led Zeppelin, has been major on me. I think he's been major on many musicians. I mean, there's other guys, other styles that I picked up later on in life, like Rudy Sarzo, great Cuban, by the way. Like, there's been many, but I think John Paul Jones, as an overall musician, overall bass player, has done it for me. Definitely. He's the man at the top. And we should never forget him,
Oh yeah,
never.
yeah. Oh god, yeah,
Yep. And
yeah. He
John
was one.
Entwistle. John
Oh god,
Entwistle was another one, another
yeah.
great Englishman.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. Two greats there. Two greats.
Yep.
Two pure legends there. Yeah.
Out
So
of England.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So before you sort of like got into like what you're doing now, were you in any bands before you started to do like session work?
Yeah, I was in a great band named Prophecy. Uh, just, a bunch of us getting together in the room, having fun. And I was in another band named Sweet Six, and we were like all over Canada and northeastern United States. And we used to tour and have fun. And I got lots of stories about Sweet Six. But you know what? Prophecy was probably the band that wanted me to venture into what I am now. These guys were like absolutely amazing. And it's funny because I'm working on a song now. The lead vocalist, Troy Jenkins, Jinxie Jenkins, he sent me a song before he died, a song idea. And I'm working on it right now to release, because I got a plan for another album with some great people, much like I did with Hollywood Monsters. That was Steph Hahn's baby, but now I'm going to do my own thing, much like that, with some amazing musicians around the world. But before he passed away, he sent me the song idea, and he sent me like three versions of the song idea, and he had it on acoustic guitar, and he's playing acoustic guitar, and he was going away with it. And I'm finally getting it together with the right people I need to put together with, and it's amazing. But I've never been like a really touring guy. If a band reached out to me, said, "Hey, Ronnie, we'd like you to tour with us," um, if it was great for them and great for me, I would do it in a heartbeat, because now I'm retired at almost 60 years old, so I can do what I want when I want to do it. But it's like there's two people that need to be, or two entities that need to be, and I would do it. But right now I'm happy with what I do and how I do it.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so basically, you've mentioned that you're working on a song. Is there anything else that you've special over the last couple of years? Basically, what you've been up to. What else
Yeah.
have you been working on too?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I've been hanging on to a lot of things, Elliot, that from different great musicians from around the world. You know what? There's one thing about it, and I'm totally blessed. It was when I reach out to certain musicians, they say, "Yeah, no problem, Ronnie." So I've been hanging on to some drum tracks, to guitar tracks, to different things that I've been working on over the past couple of years, that is going to be coming to fruition. Like it's I'm not getting any older. I'm not getting any younger. So it's like, let's do it now. Um, you know, as I said, I'm quite lucky about what I've done with who I've done it with. So now it's time to like recreate and create everything that has come to me to carry on. And I've got a lot to carry on with. And, I've been planning the past like 6, 8 months in particular. And what's going to happen is we're going to start getting everything done probably the last bit of 2024, and you're going to start to see things released. We're going to release things in singles because I have a lot of musicians who are involved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just piece it out over 12 months and then a final album. And that's what I'm going to do. And part of this too, Elliot, is I'm going to Havana, Cuba to record with a great drummer. I got a great guitar player that's hopefully coming down with this. If not, I'll get one there because I know a lot of people in Cuba as part of this album. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to film as little part of a small documentary or rockumentary as a part of this. So yeah, I'm a lucky boy, guaranteed.
Yeah, yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about what your plans are for, if you can anyway, what your plans are for the singles, for the singles?
Yeah, I'm thinking, what I'm going to do is I got about 3 or 4 in the can. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in 2025, start releasing them every 3 weeks, every 5 weeks, and then start going on. And then there's going to be, of course, the Cuba documentary in between. And then we keep on going and going and going,
Yeah,
definitely. So that's what we're doing. But I'm not going to mention any names to you, Elliot, but there's some amazing names and some amazing stories behind it. And what I want to do is I want to kind of document the whole thing as I
yeah,
go, you know,
yeah.
definitely.
Would that be like within the documentary that you plan on doing?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, no, definitely. You know what? The thing about it is, with like, we'll keep it short, but what I'm thinking about doing is adding on to that documentary as well, because I'll tell people, hey, why don't you record what you record? Like, let's liven things up. The music industry has changed right now, Elliot, and I mean, you know what? The thing about me is I'm not in it for money. I'm not in it for fame. It's I have some of the best around me. So let's lift them up. Wherever way they go, let's do it. Let's go. You know,
yeah, yeah,
and I'm into
yeah.
that.
Cool, cool. Got a couple of questions from
Sure.
Sebastian, which is one of my moderators. He asks, "What is your take on Hollywood monsters?"
One of the best projects that I was ever involved with. I mean, let's keep the name short. We've got Vinny Appice on drums. We got this, and let me back it up. This was Steph Hans, baby, out of France, out of Marseille, France. And we were talking one day. We met online. We were talking one day, and he said to me, "Yeah, I done this, done this." I said, "Yeah, I know. That was amazing." He goes, "So I don't know what to do next." And I said, "Go back to Hollywood Monsters. You got to do that." So, I mean, Vinny Appice, Don Airy, uh, Danko Jones, Greg Godovitz. I mean, there was tons. Like, you surprised me with this question because it's like, but I mean, if you go to ronnie.robson.com, my webpage, and go to the monster section, um, there are so many amazing musicians on that album. There absolutely is. And I'm very proud of this album. And you know what? If Steph reached out to me and said, let's do another Hollywood Monsters album, I'm in. I'm in. Guaranteed. It was
Cool,
amazing.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. And we've got another one from Sebastian. He asks, "Have you ever played with Greg Lake?"
I haven't played with Greg Lake. Out of Emerson, Lake and Palmer? No.
Yeah.
But tell him to call me. I'm
Oh
in.
yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Emerson, Lake and
Yeah.
Palmer was a great band. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Man.
What did you? I've got a question thinking about Emerson Lake and Palmer. I think I'm thinking
Yes.
of the right one here. What did you think of when Neil Young went into Emerson Lake and Palmer?
Neil Young.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Cool.
No, amazing. Neil's
Yeah.
my
Cool.
boy. Are you kidding? You know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna hand this interview off to Neil Young right now because I'm gonna tell you something about Neil Young. He grew up in a little town called Omemee in Ontario, and about I don't know how many miles away or how many kilometers away. I grew up in a little town called Dunsford. Okay, so we grew up very very close. And I'm a great crazy horse, like Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Like I could step in on bass any time of the day. And it was so funny because I remember being on my dock on our lake and I'm hearing, my sister and I and a couple of friends were hearing Neil Young. And it was like an overcast night and this little rowboat went by and I'm like, that sounds like Neil Young. So they stopped off. We had a raft out probably about maybe 60 or 70 feet away from our dock. And they're playing and they're stopping, they're talking. And I remember one of our friends said, "Hey, who are you?" And they kind of pushed off the dock. He says, "This next song will tell you." And I can't remember the song off the top of my head. It was the Neil Young song, of course. And it was perfect. And I'm still wondering to this day if it was Neil.
Yeah.
If he was back to his old neighborhood, because he actually did a concert a few years back um, in his old neighborhood. So yeah, Neil's one of my favorite, man. Are you kidding? I love
Yeah.
Neil, definitely.
Yeah. He's done some amazing tunes over the years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? It can go in everything. He can go into rock. He can go into country. He can go into. He's To me, he's amazing. He's amazing,
Yeah.
Elliot. Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of those types of musicians where he's very versatile. Very versatile.
Yeah, yeah, he is. He is. So I'm going to send this interview to Neil's management right now because you never know what happens. Let's do
Cool.
Omimi, Neil. Come on.
Cool.
I want to
Uh,
live in a cinnamon girl. Anyway,
when you sort of like get all the songs that you're planning to record and release,
yep.
is there any sort of plans on releasing merchandise for each song, or
Um, yeah, bumper stickers. No, no. You know what? Maybe no. You know what? There's half of the stuff I'm going to give away. Oh, you want a copy of this? Go ahead. You know, none of us are in it for money. You know, and maybe I'll make up some T-shirts for lucky people and send them out and say, you know, here you go, wear this. And if somebody recognizes it, hug them, take a picture together, and send it to me. I'd love that. Yeah, that's all. Oh, beer can openers. I'll give those. I'll give those away for free too.
yeah, cool. Is it well? I know Bastion. Yeah, Sebastian would basically slap me upside of the head if I don't ask this. Is there any plans on putting songs on vinyl records?
I would like to. You know what? Going. You know what, Sebastian? Sebastian, I'm going to tell you. I want to release the last Hollywood Monsters album on vinyl. That's what I want to do. And I we have two people who are distributing Thriving on Chaos, and it's out of Brazil, Fred Mika from the band Sun Road, and we have out of Japan, Biki Music. And you know, just go to my website, go down, as I said, go to Monsters, go down, and you'll be able to pick it up. But um, you know what? I would love to release the next album, not you know Hollywood Monsters, but our album. We're still working on a name. We're still doing stuff. There's three of us that are going to be doing the main things to this, but I'd like to do vinyl on this too, and we all get to sign it and send it out because it'll be all over from around the world. So it's worth the pennies.
Oh yeah, yeah. Are you going to be sort of like I know it's early stages at the minute, but have you got any sort of like designs for the vinyl?
No,
No.
no, no, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah,
We're still working through the tunes. You know, we got a few tunes done, few tunes more, you know, like it's still in planning stages. So,
yeah,
but you know what? It looks like I have to send Sebastian one whatever I do. And you, my friend.
yeah, yeah. Looks, yeah, yeah. I know there's Lisa Boo, who's also a fellow Canadian. She loves vinyl as well. I
Yeah,
love vinyl. Sebastian loves vinyl.
yeah.
So,
I love vinyl
uh,
too. I love vinyl too. And you know, it's funny because I had I remember I was working for the city of Toronto. I was outside of a record store and they were playing Led Zeppelin, like live, something that I never heard. And I went in, I went into the record store and what it was uh, like a bootleg. Anyway, I think it was Jimmy Page who brought off the bootleg because they did it so well. And it ended up to be How the West Was Won. And I remember having that album. It was a double album in my thing, and I don't know ever what happened to it. But if anyone ever has that album and has a check mark on the back of it, it's mine. As I said, I don't know what happened to that album, but you know what? It
yeah,
was how many years later, and it was How the West Was Won. And I bought the album. It was on CD. I bought the CD and I put it in my CD player, and I went, I heard this before. Where the hell's my album? So I'd love my son to have that right now because he's collecting vinyl. So,
yeah.
you know, what can I do?
Yeah, yeah. So, is there, when you sort of like do get the album or the singles and the album released, is there any sort of like plans on doing any touring?
I don't think so. I think this is just everyone at home doing what we do, how we do it. Like I'll present it to different media people, and you never know what happens in the from there. And it's back to the Hollywood Monsters. When we released the album, like I said to Steph, do you want to tour? Do you want to do this? And I reached out to Vinny Appice and I said, do you want to tour with this? Do you want to have some fun with this? And I said, let's go northeastern United States, into Canada, and maybe back into northeastern United States. And they agreed, and we're talking about a guitar player who would want to play lead, because a lot of the, like, Steph, Vinny, and I were on that album. We did all of everything that needed to be done, and you know we talked about guitar players. We got a guitar player, and it was uh, Tracy G, and he's on my album this time. And Tracy used to play with Ronnie James Dio, with with Vinny, because Vinny played with Ronnie James Dio as well. And I reached out and I said, "What about Vinny Appice?" Or sorry, what about Tracy G? And Steph goes, "Yeah." And I don't think he said yeah right away, without realizing, like, we're going to get a lot of Black Sabbath, Ronnie James Dio people going, "Wait a minute, hold on. We got Tracy G and Vinny Appice back with Hollywood Monsters." So anyway, that happened, but then COVID happened. So that all went to crap. So, you know,
Yeah.
and I would still say, hey, guys, let's do it tomorrow. We can have some fun. I think it would be a great reunion, and a great way to celebrate Hollywood Monsters, because Hollywood Monsters has some amazing people. Like, even before me, my intern into this, they had some great people performing. So I think it would be like a really amazing thing to do. So you know what? Let's hope. Let's try
Yeah.
it.
Oh
The
yeah,
world is
yeah.
opening.
Oh god, yeah. So I've got another question from Sebastian. He asks, "Do you know a Canadian band, Big Sugar?"
Yes, yes, I do. Gordy Johnson.
Yeah.
Um, they came to town, excuse me, my town, a little while ago. And you know what? Post this interview, and I'll post a picture of Gordy and I. And we couldn't quite figure out um, where we knew each other from, or where we met in the beginning. Anyway, I think I'm still trying to figure it out. But my wife and I were there as a three-piece band. They were absolutely amazing. I was blown away. And you know what? I'm not easily impressed. But Gordy and Big Sugar, amazing. And you know what? They're touring hard. They're doing what they do. Ah, I'd like to record with Gordy too, just to let you know. I'd like to I brought something out. He knows a friend of mine who's going to be on the next album, Sasha Tukach. She used to play in a band called Platinum Blonde, and we did some stuff with Stefan from uh, Hollywood Monsters. We did a song or two. I think some David Bowie covers, and I was thinking, you know what? With Sasha, I'd like to do "Going Down," Jeff Beck cover, right? So he knows Gordy. So I thought, Gordy on vocals and guitar, me on bass, backup vocals and Sasha Tukach on drums. That could be amazing. So we're going to wait for him to get back on tour. I know Sasha's recovering from a shoulder injury, not industry, um, and hopefully he gets better soon. But you know what? An amazing band, Elliot.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Lisa Boo says Big Sugar is great as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, they are. They really are. You know what? And they're going hard at it. Like I know Gordy's been in Texas for a while, and I can't remember where his drummer's from. Like such an amazing guy, and his bass player's from Canada, but I think living in Texas also, and that's possibly how they met. Don't quote me on that, but um, absolutely one of the best, absolute best Canadian bands ever. Absolute.
Cool. I know there's been like a lot of Canadian bands that have come out over the last, well, since the 70s really, that are like obviously Russian, and quite a few others as well.
Yeah.
So it's actually hard to keep up with all the brilliant Canadian bands out there.
Come on, you got Triumph, you got
Yeah.
Rush, you got April Wine, you got Loverboy, you got Boot Sauce. Now, Boot Sauce on the next album, Boot Sauce drummer John Fatboy Lally will be on this album as well.
Cool.
Now, if I could
Cool.
get Gil Moore, that would be amazing too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Too right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, right, where can people find you on social media? I know you got your website, RonnieRobson.com.
Right.
Are you on any other social media sites like Facebook,
Um,
Instagram?
yeah, people can. I'm almost up to my limit on Facebook, but it's Ronnie Robson, and you'll see because I give a finger. I'm not going to give a finger now, but I'll give the finger. They'll see it in the picture. And Amplitude Films on Instagram. Yeah.
Cool,
But you know
cool.
what? Even if they go to my website, ronnierobson.com, they drop down the bottom, they'll see all the links, Elliot.
Cool, cool. Yeah, yeah, guys. I have put the link not only in the chat, in the live chat there. I've also put the link to Ronnie's website in the description as well. So
Cool.
please, go check Ronnie's website. I've been listening to his music. Yeah, that's on there, and it's absolutely amazing. It's literally
Thank you.
absolutely amazing. So,
Thanks, my friend.
yeah, my pleasure. So this is probably going to be my last question, unless
Sure.
anybody else has got any more questions. One question before that's my last question. I know Lisa Boo's got a couple of questions, but she's feeling under the weather at the minute, so she would normally ask, um, what song, whether it's your own or somebody else's, is your favorite to play?
Um, Rain Over Me, The Who. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah. Rain Over Me, The Who.
Cool,
I think
cool.
I think you're rocking a crowd. You step back. Either the first notes are played on guitar or played on piano. People of our age, they're gonna just go like this, and they're gonna sing along. And you know what? A lot of bands should, I think, surprise uh, people with stuff that they wouldn't normally do, but they can do well. You know. So Rain Over Me, or um, I'm thinking of a Red Hot Chili Pepper song. No, let's go Rain Over Me.
Cool, cool. Yeah, it's a good song. Good song.
Yeah.
And when you've played live, where was your favourite venue to play at?
My favorite venue, Larry's Hideaway in Toronto. Um, El Macombo, Toronto. And I remember when I was younger and I was like playing in live bands and I was out all the time. I was playing. My dad was so amazed. He gave me a hug. Like my dad, I could save his life and he wouldn't give me a hug. I played the El Macombo. What does he do? One of those. It's okay. He's a Robson, you know. Uh, but probably my my favorite club to actually play was the Gasworks in Toronto. Electric crowd, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, electric crowd, place packed. I don't know how everyone got home safely half the time. Absolutely amazing. But you know what? Larry's Hideaway and El Macombo have special place for me, but probably my favorite to rock was the Gasworks. And there's been films on the Gasworks too. So, you
I
know,
was going to say that. I was going to say that. I do recognise the gasworks. It's even in this little place called Sully in the UK. I've heard about the gasworks.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
no,
yeah,
amazing club. Elliot, amazing club. It had, you know what? I wish it was still there. I wish it was still, now Toronto, I think uh, the best rock and roll place is called the Rock Pile. And it's in Toronto Southwest. And they've had many, many great people play there. I mean, just I off the top of my head, Pat Travers, he plays there. Ex-Canadian, lives in. But so many great players who have played there. Gatto, like just I think it took over for where it was, and the owner used to have a place in Queen and Bathurst area. A lot of punk, a lot of undergrounds things, and I worked in that neighborhood for years and experienced many great concerts and many great bands in that. Toronto is like, you know, it was Music City, but there's so many few clubs that cater now. And Rockpile has probably, without the glitz and glam, Rockpile is the place to be in Toronto. But you know, as I said, Gasworks, probably my favorite place to play, uh, and Larry's Hideaway was was probably my second. And I laugh at Larry's Hideaway because you never went upstairs to sleep because you catch
yeah,
something. Yeah, they tore the whole building down. Now it's part of a
yeah,
park. Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
yeah. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I've heard. I think it was world famous, the gasworks. Because
Yeah.
I've heard of it. It's a pity it's not there anymore.
Yeah, no. And you know what? It's funny because there's a lot of other clubs in Toronto that were great clubs, small clubs that I played. And some of them are still around, like the Rivoli and stuff. They're still around. Uh, Took, another great band, the bass player, guitar player from that band who plays with Slash from Guns N' Roses, they just played there. And you know what? There's some still great venues around Toronto, which is great. But you know what? The thing about it is, man, everyone's got to get out and see the bands. Everyone's got to, just you got to, I don't know, participate. You know, buy a beer, buy a ticket, go out and see the, different bands, even if they're local. Have fun. Get out of the house. You know. And I say this
Yeah,
because I'm mostly in my house most of the time. But
yeah,
you mentioned the last time I seen a band. I think it was the Hit Disturbers, which is in Orangeville, which is northeast of me, and they're an amazing band. And went to see them with friends and had a great time. Before that, it was Big Sugar with with Gordie Johnson. And you know what? I'll mention this again. Go see Big Sugar. Amazing band. You'll have a great time.
Cool, cool, cool. So, sort of like this is going to be my last question now. Any advice for people who want to become a musician?
Uh, yes. Any advice? You know what? That's a huge question, Elliot. Okay, it depends on how serious you're going to take it. Plan to live home till you're 68. No, wait a minute, 58. No. You know what? Practice, have fun, learn your stuff, uh, go out, practice your stuff. Jam with many musicians as you can. That brightens your horizon. Be involved with many musicians as you can. Just jam it out and have some fun. That's all. The world's changing. You're not going to be a rock star playing Madison Square Garden tomorrow. So you know what? Have fun, learn some, and have some fun some more. And live with your parents till you're 58.
Yeah, sound advice there. Yeah, sound advice there with just have some fun with learning the like say the bass or the drums or whatever it is. Have some fun.
Yeah. You know what? Learn what you want to learn. You know what I mean? Whatever you know what? Things come easy as a musician and some things become hard. You know what? Practice it and it's not going to become hard. It's like when somebody comes up to a guitar player and says, "You suck." Fine. You know what? I'm playing to get better. Plain and simple. Like you just have fun with it. Write songs, create, like have fun with it. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, sound advice there, buddy. Sound advice. So, where can like I said, have you got it? You done the website and stuff like that. So, any final words before we sort of like start wrapping things up?
Yes. Elliot, appreciate meeting you. You're from my father's and grandfather's home, almost hometown. You're in Sutherland. They came
Yeah.
from Newcastle. And you know what? This is not going to be the last interview that we do. And thank
Oh
you
no.
so much for having me. And thank you for everyone for listening and watching.
Yeah, yeah. My pleasure. My pleasure. And yeah, guys, go check out Ronnie. He's absolutely amazing. I put his website in the description and in the live chat there. So please go check him out. He's absolutely amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And like Ronnie said, this won't be the last interview. I will be getting him back on, whether he likes it or not.
We're doing it. We're doing it, my friends.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah.
We're
Oh
doing it,
good.
my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
But check out Big Sugar, everyone. They're a great band. And RonnieRobson.com. Check that out too. Check out the
Yeah.
bio. I've recorded a lot of great people. So, and we're you know what? This isn't over, Elliot.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. So guys, go check out Ronnie. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant bassist. So and yeah, Ronnie, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's
Thank you
been an
so much. I
absolute
got a,
pleasure.
I got a, I got a little tongue tied today, but it happens.
Yeah, that's the thing with especially with live broadcasts is always little mishaps.
I
So,
know.
but
Can we,
that's
can we
life.
do it? Can we do a do over? No.
Yeah, more. Anyway, guys, Yeah, thank you so much. And I see Christina in the chat there, and thank you to Christina Avila to
Ah, Christina Avila, my
yeah.
I don't know what she ranks in my favorite Cuban, but she's up there. And thank you. She's my East Coast promoter.
Yeah, cool. Hey, Christina, how you doing? We'll be all right. And thank you for hooking me up with Ronnie. It's been a total pleasure talking to him. Total pleasure. So anyway, guys, go check out Ronnie on his website. So guys, Ronnie, again, thank you so much, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see you. Yes, hopefully sometime soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you, my friend, and thank you everyone for listening and watching.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you all later.